New Zealand Stitch Bird. Today I'm going to talk to you about some elevated basic tops. I went on a bit of a journey over summer and I found that I was missing quite a few basic pieces. I bought one of the Outfit Formula's capsule wardrobes and I realised that the reason why my clothes weren't really going together was because I had a lot of prints and patterns and they didn't seem to sort of go that well together. So I was in real need of just some plain tops. So when I was struggling in the morning to get dressed or whenever, I could just put a plain top on and then pair it with either a plain or a pattern. So anyway, I decided that I didn't want just boring basic t-shirts. So I had a wee look at some YouTubers and found some interesting patterns that would sort of elevate the t-shirt or the top a little bit. So I've actually made 4 in my colours, in the colours that I have in my capsule this summer. So I'm going to go through some of the patterns that I used and the fabrics, and I'll put some pics of the pattern up here and also of me wearing these tops and just my experiences in making these tops. So the first one is the Lennox by Love Notions, and I've been wanting to make this for a wee while, and this one in particular has got the square neckline, which I wasn't sure whether it was going to suit me or not, but I think it's okay. I decided to do the puff sleeves, so I thought rather than just being a boring tee, it has got the square neckline and the puff sleeves which elevate it a little bit from just being, and it's also got the seams going down the front, giving it a bit like a princess sort of seam line, giving it a bit more shape. Now this one here I made an extra large, that's what I normally make, but it is quite a slim fitting top, especially in this fabric. This is, I think, a spandex knit cotton. It's got quite a bit of stretch, but it's a reasonably heavy fabric, and I just noticed it was just a little bit tight around my back. So I think the next time I'm going to make it is I'm actually going to do the front using the full bust option, which will give me a little bit more room, and I'll probably just make it a bit smaller around the hip, because I found it had plenty of room around the hip. It was more this back area across here, and I think it was because it was pulling on the bust a bit. So I think that will make a difference, but I'll just grade it down back down to the 16 or the extra large at the bottom. So that was my first elevated basic, and the great thing about this, it will go with white, it will go with my navies, it goes with denim skirts, and even later on when it gets a little bit cooler, it will go with all my pants. So it's a great basic for me to have in my wardrobe. It's slightly elevated, and of course you can add jewelry and accessories just to bring it up a notch. So that was my first basic. My next basic, and I've made quite a few of these, and unfortunately I don't think the pattern is available anymore. However, it is just a basic top pattern with a grind-on sleeve, and another one that I've used a lot is the Bondi top by Soda Grow. You could just alter that one for this type, but this is the Alia Mac 24/7 pattern, and it looks on first glance just a basic navy tee, but at the bottom it has like a georgette trim at the bottom, and on the back it's got this flowy georgette sort of a trim as well with a tuck at the back. So in this one I make an extra large, and it's just a really comfy piece to wear, but slightly elevated with that bit on the bottom. Just gives it a little bit more finish. The trick with these patterns when they have the, I guess, the scoop bottom, is if I don't bind it, and I don't want to bind it with this fabric because it's just see-through, I actually folded under the seam allowances on the front and back before I sewed it together, so that gave it a really good finish at the sides. so that was really good. Firstly, I forgot to mention the top that I'm wearing today is the Cashmerette Concord V-neck, just a standard bust, and for me it's quite low, so I think the next time I will just lift it a little bit. This is quite a loose rayon knit, so there's plenty of room in this for me, and it has the little band on the sleeve. And also I've got to show off my earrings. These are, I'll take one off and show you. These are from a New Zealand designer called Nick Von K. He's in Auckland. I'll put the link below. These are wee mirrors. There we go, that's a better pic. And I've also got the pendant, but I tend not to wear them together, wear them separately. So that's what I'm wearing today. So anyway, the Ellen Mac top was the second elevated basic I made. The next one I made is one of the pattern makers that I haven't used before, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to pronounce this right. This is a Cashmerette Patterns top. I think it's French, and this was just a gorgeous top to make, and I wanted it sort of like a creamy neutrally top, but this one's actually got a little bit of sparkle on it, which I think elevates the top a bit. And the other thing that elevates it a little bit is it got these gorgeous pin tucks across the shoulders, and it's got a wee cap sleeve, and then it's just got just the hem at the bottom, and I think this will just go with so many different outfits. So again, I'll put the pattern up there. Now for this one, I made a size 46, which is equivalent to a UK 18. I have to say it doesn't have a lot of room in it, so that's why I decided to make the bigger size, but this does fit me. Of course, there's not really much stretch in this fabric, it is just a woven fabric. So yeah, I thought this would be really cool as another, and I can wear gold accessories with it. So another really good basic to have in my wardrobe. Right, lucky last. So I've got a navy, a yellow, an off-white, and I also have a red top. And this is the Frankie by Love Notions. I've used just a plain knit for the body, and it's got the wee side slits, and the collar and the little placket I've used a satin, which I thought would just elevate what would normally be just an ordinary everyday top. So by adding a little bit of texture, has given it a lot of interest and elevated the design. So I guess that's what I've done with most of the projects apart from the Lennox. I've added different fabrics to give them a bit of an edge. With the Lennox, of course, it had the puff sleeves and the different necklines, so I thought that kind of elevated it enough. So these are some things you can do in your wardrobe when you're thinking about making basics. They don't have to be super boring. You can actually elevate them by adding little accents and things to make them interesting. So yeah, this one is definitely going to be a really versatile top. Go with navy, white, neutrals, even khaki. So really looking forward to wearing that one. So that was my 4 basic, I guess slightly elevated tops and my makes for the last week or so. Next week I hope to bring you my decision on which jacket I'm going to make, and I might have tested one by then to let you know how I'm getting on with that decision. So plenty more in the pipeline coming, and I've got something cut out over here. I'll just grab it, and it's going to go with those elevated basics that I've been talking about. So those elevated basic tops that I've been talking about will go with this. So this is coming up in the next couple of weeks, and I'll show you what it is. So I'm really looking forward to making that up. It's a gorgeous linen mix, and it's got the gorgeous flowers, cream background, really lovely. So yeah, hopefully get that made up. so you can see that. Anyway, thanks for joining today, and look forward to sharing some new makes coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for tuning in. Bye now.